The Baltimore Ravens just got handed the most golden opportunity in the entire NFL, and if they blow it this time, there is absolutely no excuse left on the planet. Last season was a disaster. Let's not sugarcoat it. The Ravens look like a team that could not get out of their own way. Injuries hit at the worst possible moments. The coaching decisions had fans pulling their hair out. And when the execution needed to be clean and sharp, it was sloppy and slow. Now throw on top of all of that, the Ravens were grinding through the 12th toughest schedule in the entire NFL. 12. That means almost every single week, Baltimore was stepping into a war zone. The season started brutal, gave fans a tiny breath of fresh air in the middle, and then turned right back into a roller coaster that made everybody sick. Up, down, and at the end of it all, no playoffs. Not even close enough to feel good about it. And you know what the craziest part is? The Ravens did not just miss the playoffs. They kicked themselves right out of contention. One missed kick. Tyler Loop. That one moment changed everything for this franchise, and honestly, maybe it changed everything for the better. So here is the question every Ravens fan needs to sit with right now. Is this the year Baltimore finally stops wasting talent and goes all the way? Because here is what changed. Because of that lost season, the Ravens land with the 6th easiest schedule in the entire NFL heading into 2026. Let that sink in. Last year, 12th hardest. This year, 6th easiest. That is a massive, massive swing. And it did not happen by accident. Losing brought a new head coach through the door. Losing brought a better draft position. Losing, as painful as it was, planted seeds that are now starting to grow into something real. Tyler Loop, Ravens fans are still out here thanking you. Every kick this season, kick it clean, kick it confident, and kick this team straight to the Super Bowl. But an easy schedule means nothing if you do not understand what you are actually walking into. So let's break it down the right way. Most people think strength of schedule is just based on how many games teams won last season. Simple wins and losses. And look, that makes sense on the surface. But analyst Warren Sharp from Sharp Football does it differently, and smarter. Sharp uses oddsmaker projected win totals instead of last year's records. Why? Because last year is last year. Rosters change. Coaches change. Players develop. A team that went 8-9 last season could be a 12-win machine this year, and if you are basing your schedule difficulty off old records, you are working with stale information. Sharp also points out something people forget all the time. Games are decided by inches. A lucky fumble recovery. A tipped ball that turns into a pick. A strip sack at the worst moment. A single play can completely flip the result of a game, and that result then gets used to judge how good or bad a team actually is. Sharp's formula cuts through all of that noise and focuses on what teams are projected to do right now. And based on that formula, the Ravens have the 6th easiest schedule in 2026. Here is where it gets really interesting. 11 of Baltimore's 17 games this season are against teams projected to win 8.5 games or fewer. 11. That means week after week, the Ravens are walking in as the favorite or right at even footing. Only 2 games on the schedule are against teams projected to hit double-digit wins, a home matchup against the Los Angeles Chargers and a road trip to face the Buffalo Bills. That is it. 2 genuinely tough tests among 17 games. Now before Ravens fans start planning the Super Bowl parade, pump the brakes for just 1 second. Drop a comment right now. Which team on the Ravens schedule scares you the most this year? Be specific. Let's hear it. Because here is the thing about easy schedules that nobody wants to talk about. They can be a trap. We have all seen it happen. A team cruises through a soft schedule, wins 10 or 11 games looking unstoppable, and then the playoffs start, and suddenly they are facing real competition and they completely fall apart. The regular season gave them no resistance. No hard lessons. No close calls that forced them to grow. And when the pressure finally showed up, they had no idea how to handle it. On the flip side, the teams that battle through brutal schedules all year, they walk into January already tested, already hardened, already knowing what it feels like to be punched in the mouth and punch right back. So for the Ravens, this easy schedule is a gift, but only if they treat every single game like it matters. No overlooking anyone. No taking the foot off the gas when the lead gets comfortable. No sleepwalking through a team with a losing record just because the name on the jersey does not sound scary. And that right there is the biggest concern with this new Ravens era. Because Ravens fans have seen this movie before. Big leads that disappear. Opponents that should have been handled easily that turned into embarrassing losses. A roster full of talent that somehow could not put it all together when it counted most. But wait until you hear how the new coaching staff and the new roster additions are completely changing what this offense is even built to do. The Ravens went into this offseason and this draft with one clear mission: get physical. For too long, Baltimore's offense has been missing that nasty, contested catch, fight for the football mentality at the receiver position. Yes, Lamar Jackson is a generational talent. Yes, the running game has always been elite. But when it came to receivers who could go up in traffic, hold their ground against a physical corner, and come down with the ball in a crowd, the Ravens were lacking. Enter Jacoby Lane. 6'4", built like he belongs on the outside of a football field and refuses to be moved off it. This is a guy who is already known as a jump ball specialist, a go-up-and-get-it receiver who wins contested catches. And that is exactly the kind of weapon Lamar has been missing when the defense knows the run is coming and loads the box. Lane gives the Ravens a legitimate red zone threat, a chain mover on third down, and a big body that defensive backs simply cannot bully. Pair him with Elijah Surratt, another physical, contested catch receiver, and suddenly the Ravens have not one but two genuine threats in situations where they used to struggle. And the question fans are already buzzing about is a good one. Does adding these two receivers actually change the identity of this offense? Does Baltimore shift away from being purely run first and start throwing the ball with more confidence and more frequency? Honestly, the early signs say this coaching staff wants both. They want the physicality in the run game, and they want that same physicality showing up in the passing game too. Two receivers who can block. Two receivers who can win in traffic. Two receivers who make Lamar Jackson's job easier in ways that create problems for every single defense in the league. Jacoby Lane going one-on-one with Marlon Humphrey in training camp. That is the kind of battle that makes your palms sweat just thinking about it. Lane versus Kyle Hamilton on a jump ball. Lane versus Nate Wiggins testing that length and speed combination. Every single one of those training camp representatives is going to tell Ravens fans something important about whether this team is really ready for the next level. And here is something worth noting. The Ravens also made a move by signing Calais Campbell on the defensive side. Campbell is not just a pass rusher. He is a complete defensive lineman, pressures the quarterback and stops the run. That versatility is the exact same skill set that Nnamdi Madubuike brings to the table. Which raises an interesting point. If the Ravens truly believed Madubuike was 100% ready to start and own that role from day one, would they have brought in someone with the exact same abilities? Or does Campbell signal that Baltimore is being smart and cautious with Madubuike's development, rather than throwing him into the deep end before he is ready? It is worth watching closely when camp opens up. The Ravens had the talent last year. The schedule this year is kinder. The roster has been upgraded with physical weapons. The coaching staff is talking the right talk. Now comes the only part that actually matters: walking the walk. No more comfortable leads that somehow vanish. No more head-scratching decisions that cost games that should have been won easily. No more exits before the playoffs even start. The road to the Super Bowl has never looked more open for Baltimore. But open roads still require someone willing to drive. And this year, every single Ravens fan is watching to see if this team finally puts the pedal down and does not let up until they are holding that trophy. The schedule is set. The roster is built. The excuses are gone. Now let's go get it, Baltimore.